Now as you look at this a little bit, we'll notice that there's a group of wires right here, and they're zip tied to the top motor frame to help keep them out of the way and keep it all safe. So we need, in order to remove our motor, we're going to have to get those out of the way. Plus the idea of just being able to look at these carbon brushes closer, we're going to want to get those zips off there. So I got the zip ties cut. We got one more underneath. Take that one off. I'm also just going to quickly look. Okay. Also on this dryer, this one has a sticker on it. This is our new tracking system that we're doing. So we've already worked on this dryer. This one has a serial number, TEP00055. So I can go to my Excel spreadsheet and I can also see what repair we did the last time it was here and the date and all that kind of good stuff to know how long they were able to use it. And if there's something that we should have as a red flag that says, well, you know, we replaced the brushes just, 2 months ago, they're already bad. Maybe we really need to look at that motor a little closer, that it's defective. And so that's what that system is doing for us. It's really worked well to help us track things because sometimes people don't always remember when they had it here last or what we did. And so it's hard for us to look up those records. And with that system now we can do that. All right, so I've got these wires kind of back out of the way. You can see there's some splices. The motors have wires on them when we get a new motor, and then there's motor wires or switch wires that we bring up from the back of the dryer where the switch contacts are, and we hook those together. Now sometimes I'll get these open and there'll be like 6 different splices. In that case, we really don't want to put that motor back with all those different crimp-on connections. One, that's a potential for a wire to come apart. It's also one of those situations where, that just could get a situation where electrically things might be pulling a lot of heat, also causing damage to the motors. We just don't have good wiring. And so in that case, we would want to pull fresh wires from the back to the front. And we have a method to do that, and we will show that here in a little bit. So again, let's keep it simple right now. We're going to look at the carbon brushes, and so we need to pull the cover off. One thing I am going to do, just for the sake of video, I am going to unplug the dryer. That way we know that if we hit a switch or anything like that, we don't have live power in at the motor. All right, almost. Get our screws out. So there's 2 screws with kind of a hat cover that holds the brush in place. So we get that out of the way. I dropped a screw down in there. Let's see here. Go grab that real quick. I could use a magnet also. We'll get that down here with the other parts so we know where it is later. Now that I have this loose, I still have the wire connected. I'm just going to pull it loose and just see how much carbon is left. Now looking at this, we see there's about 3/4 of an inch of carbon that's left on this, which means there's still viable life to that brush. Here's a brand new one. It's about 1 1/8 inch, 1 1/4 long. So we've used about 1/3, not quite a half of the brush already since they were replaced. But that gives us an idea that, wow, this really shouldn't be arcing and sparking due to worn out brushes. Now, can I just look at one brush and determine that that's really where the problem lies? No, we're going to have to look at both if we're just doing this diagnostically, because sometimes we will have where a motor like this is drawing power irregularly, and when it does, it can actually burn up one brush while leaving the other one pretty intact. We actually just had this a couple weeks ago with a dryer, and one of my staff was working on that, and when they were working on it, they only checked one brush, and they couldn't figure out why this motor wouldn't run. So I'm going to pull the second brush, same basic amount of wear, about 3/4 of an inch there. We're going to put that one back in place. When we go to do this, I'll open up this pack of brushes. When we're setting this in place on the motor, there's a little slot kind of right behind where that hat is, and this little dimple that sticks out on the brush will fall into that spot, and that's what holds it in place front to back until you can get the cover on. It kind of helps position where that's at. Different brands of these brushes, even though they're virtually the same, may position you a little bit differently. Some will hold the brush plastic piece up fairly close to the commutator. In this case, we have about 3/16 of the brush exposed. Means that maybe that last 3/16 won't get used, but again, it does the exact same thing. So those are the carbon brushes though. But we've got them in here. I got my screws back on one side. I need to put the cover back on the other. And we're gonna run this motor a little bit where now we can see what's going on with it. Pick the right drill. Our second one. All right, there we go. Now we've got those back in place. Make sure our wires are fully engaged, that they didn't come slipping out. If we do have a wire on one of these that just wants to be loose into the carbon brush, we can always go in there with a pair of needle nose pliers, bend it just slightly, shove it back in so it's nice and tight to the copper. So we don't have a loose brush, because that would be, again, a source of more sparking and potential for that. So this will be a little bit loud again. Like I said, I want us to get a visual of how this stuff is going to work. As I turn it on, oh yeah, remember I was trying to be safe, so I unplugged it. So we're going to pick that back up, and we're going to get that re-plugged in. So we have power, and I'm going to turn it on. And when I was running it, we could see those big sparks, and and again, we can hear even more boldly that run out. Now coming in here, I don't have a lot of play in the bearing. There's not really anything that really says, wow, that's super bad. So we're going to clean up the commutator. I'm going to come down here and grab a stick. So there are commutator cleaners. You could also say brush seating sticks. They're usually a ceramic type stone. We use one from Wolf Industries that they also use to dress their diamond wheels on the Commie Gold. Works really well. Of course, that's one I usually have here. So we're going to just turn it on. What I'm going to do is I'm going to stick this in, and I'm going to run it right on that commutator, the part we looked at earlier. And as I do that, this abrasive is going to pull some of the copper loose and get it smoothed up. So that's what we're trying to do, is make sure there's no segments higher or lower causing this to bounce. Also, I'm going to concentrate a little bit on that front lip and back lip where I showed you there was all that wear. So by doing that, we'll see if it goes ahead and cleans up. So again, this will be kind of loud. So what we kind of witnessed there, hopefully you can hear me, was, and if we look in here a little bit closer, we do a close-up again, you'll see we went from that really black look to that commutator right in here to more exposed copper. And so as we turn that a little bit, We can see there's still a dark spot right there, and a little bit here and there, but a lot of it's really cleaned up. We don't have the sparks now that we had before, so very possibly we had that where it was out of round. And so, and that dark area really still tells us maybe we're still a little bit egg-shaped, and that's causing a lot of this bounce that we were seeing. It's really running pretty good right now, and we'd want to go ahead and maybe do an amp test, which we'll do once we pull the back apart, and we'll be able to see what it is. The other is I'm going to turn this on one more time, and we're going to listen for that run out again and see if maybe that wasn't noise from the brushes. Okay, so we'll listen to that again. There's still a little bit of that noise, but wow, so much better. And so we were getting a lot of bounce out of the brushes against that commutator, even in the slowdown of everything. And so we have a much better operating motor right now than we had before, and we really haven't done much of anything yet. Having a third, not quite a half of the brush gone, it doesn't really necessarily warrant changing out carbon brushes yet. They should have several months of use still. It all depends on the shop and how much they run their force dryers during a day. But I would say at least 3-4 months worth of operation still. I will be giving an estimate. I will explain that this motor does have a lot of hours on it. That's why we saw that the copper worn way down. And so we're going to want to give them an option to go ahead and replace the motor. If that's the case, we really have created a new dryer out of it in the front motor, right? And so they're starting fresh. It doesn't have factory warranty, but it's a brand new motor and they would have all the life that they had before.